This is Harman Kardon Sabre SB35 soundbar and wireless subwoofer combo. And design is the key word here, both in terms of how it looks, it's super sleek, and how it operates. It's got a lot under the hood. So let's take a close look at what this thing can do. I don't think I've ever reviewed a soundbar this thin. Harman Kardon says it's 32 millimeters thick, and yeah, I mean, just check that out. And I like the stand. You just basically set it on a matching metal stand, or if you're going to wall mount it, it's a very similar piece of hardware. You just screw this into the wall and hang it. I like that the stand aims the speaker back at a little bit of an angle, and on the back here it's got this clever little cover plate that hides all of the inputs and the cables going in. Here's a rundown of the inputs, and this is all your basic stuff. You've got an auxiliary input up top, optical input, the power port is here, and then a little slot for the IR transmitter. On the other side is where things get really interesting. We've got 3 HDMI inputs and an HDMI ARC input-output. But check it out, these are tiny little connections. I mean, if you want that many HDMI inputs, they're gonna have to be smaller. So it does come with one custom cable that'll go from standard HDMI to this mini HDMI. But if you want to hook up 3 more devices, you're going to have to come up with 3 more of these cables yourselves. Here are the cables it does come with. So we've got the one HDMI there, we've got an IR blaster, we've got your 3.5 millimeter to RCA, that's for an older TV output, and then an optical cable included as well for audio. It's a great remote. It's super slim. You know, it's got a little of that aluminum feel on the back, and all of your inputs are available here. We can go through some different surround modes, level out the volume with what Harman calls Harman volume, bass and volume controls, and a little mute switch. Up top, you've got all your basic controls, and Harman Kardon's designed it so that you don't really see them unless you're right on top of the sound bar. And if I adjust the volume here, we can show that there is a display hiding behind that black speaker cloth, but it's super dim and kind of tough to see. You're not really going to see that unless it's pitch black in the room. For as slick as the soundbar is, I'm really enamored with this subwoofer. I mean, I've got books that are thicker than this thing. Harman Kardon doesn't talk a whole lot about what's underneath the hood here, but we do see that we've got 2 ports, front and back. And then if we flip this guy around, you'll get your basic crossover dial, phase switch, and then there's a little pairing button here. Now we've got it on the stand already installed here, but if you wanted to, you could mount this to the wall. This little piece of metal allows that to happen. The Sabre SB35 goes for about $1,000, and that puts it right up with Definitive Technology's Solo Cinema Studio. In terms of performance, they're actually, they're pretty close. I think the Harman Kardon has the edge on design here, but there's a couple of things that really bug me. The power cords for both the soundbar and the subwoofer are too short, and not including those custom HDMI cables, that seems like an oversight to me. I'd also like to have seen a different auxiliary cable in there. But overall, the design is amazing, and our first impressions on the sound are impressive, especially considering how thin it is. I think this is going to turn out to be a winner. Come back for our full review.